Why did Jungkook stop answering calls for days? Why did Taehyung show up at the gates of the military base unannounced, despite strict restrictions? And what happened to Park Jimin that caused a wave of panic among the BTS members serving miles apart, in silence but with deep brotherhood? At first, it was just a rumor, a whispered concern shared by a few fan accounts who noticed something strange. Jimin, who had appeared vibrant, motivated, and strong in his initial photos from training, was suddenly nowhere to be found. The frequent updates from military media had gone eerily quiet on him. And when fans asked questions during online sessions with Jungkook, he didn't answer he couldn't. Because what Jungkook knew, and what Taehyung had just confirmed, was too heavy for words. The silence was not just worried at it was feared at it was helplessness. And it all began with a letter, the letter that never arrived, or was never meant to be read. Taehyung wasn't expecting anything different that day. Like every other morning during his service, he was waking up early, following orders, and tucking away thoughts of civilian life into the folds of military routine. But then came the envelope, unofficial, unmarked, unlike the regular mail he received. The handwriting was familiar, even rushed, but it wasn't signed. Yet somehow, as he read the first few lines, his heart began to pound. It was from someone in Jimin's camp, someone who cared enough to risk something. He's not well. He's hiding it. But he fainted last week. Don't let this get out. Please. Taehyung sat frozen. The words stared back at him like accusations. What did they mean, he fainted? Why was he hiding it? And most of all, why hadn't Jimin said anything? The worst part wasn't just the fear that something was wrong. It was the fact that Jimin didn't want them to know. Because that could only mean one thing. It was worse than they thought. Jungkook. I couldn't sleep after I found out. When Taehyung called Jungkook, breaking military protocol just to get through, the youngest member of BTS didn't believe him at first. He asked again and again, voice shaking. Are you sure? Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe they confused him with someone else. But deep down, he knew. Jimin was the kind to hide pain. He always had been. From their early days as trainees to their toughest performances, he would smile through injuries, sing through sore throats, and dance through fevers. It was his way. Not to burden others. Not to worry anyone. And that was what made it even more terrifying. Jungkook didn't talk to anyone for the next 2 days. Not his campmates. Not even the staff who tried to check in on him. He skipped meals. He didn't go to bed until late at night. When someone asked him if he was okay, he nodded. But his eyes were blank. He wasn't okay. Because Jimin was like his Hyung and his soulmate in one. The person who never judged him. The one who stayed up late with him after shows, listening to him ramble, cry, laugh. The one who always noticed when he was pretending. And now, he was the one pretending. Pretending to be okay. In pain. In silence. Alone. Taehyung's decision to break military rules. The question still lingers among fans and even some military insiders. What drove Taehyung to show up near Jimin's base without clearance? He had no scheduled visit. No official pass. But he came anyway. No cameras. No staff. No fanfare. Just him. He waited outside for hours. Spoke to no one. But every few minutes, he looked at the same point beyond the gate, as if willing someone to appear. What was he hoping for? A glimpse? A signal? Or was he hoping that somehow, if he was just close enough, Jimin would feel it? Later that night, an officer who recognized Taehyung and had once served with him approached quietly and told him something that shook him. They're keeping him under observation. He's been pushing himself. Maybe too hard. Taehyung's eyes welled up. He asked only one thing. Can you give him something for me? It was a folded paper half torn. Maybe a note. Maybe a drawing. No one knows, but it was never meant for public eyes. The truth behind Jimin's condition, and why he hid it. So what really happened to Jimin? Reports that have slowly started to trickle out, unconfirmed, unofficial, but disturbingly consistent, suggest that Jimin experienced signs of heat exhaustion during a particularly intense field training session. Several soldiers had to be assisted that day. But Jimin's case was more serious. He had refused assistance at first. He told the medic he just needed a minute. But when he stood up again, he collapsed. That was the first time. The second time happened in the mess hall. And this time someone wrote a letter. The military has yet to release any official statement, and BTS's agency has remained silent as well, perhaps respecting Jimin's wish for privacy. But insiders say he's under monitored care and has been pulled from certain duties for recovery. Why didn't he tell Taehyung or Jungkook? Why didn't he say anything to his members? Perhaps because he didn't want them to worry, but he underestimated how deeply they knew him, and how fast their worry could grow into panic. The emotional aftermath. I could hear Taehyung's voice shake through the wall. One of Taehyung's closest military friends, who asked not to be named, shared a moment he'll never forget. He was on the phone with someone, maybe a relative, maybe someone from the agency, but he stepped out after reading something on his phone. And I swear I could hear his voice cracking. Taehyung, who's always so calm, so chill. I've never seen him like that. He sat outside alone after that. For hours. No music. No notebook. Just silence. What had he just learned? Was there a new update? A new worry? Some believe it was a message from Jimin himself. Short. Simple. I'm okay now. Don't come. Please. And that was the line that broke them. Because when someone tells you don't come while they're suffering, that's when you realize just how much they're enduring alone. Like me to continue the rest of the story from here to reach the full 8,000 plus words. Taehyung read the message more than 10 times. He held his phone tightly as if gripping it would somehow pull Jimin closer. The words were short, but to Taehyung, they were louder than any cry for help. He didn't know what hurt more. That Jimin was trying to protect him, or that he thought he had to. Across the country, in another military unit, Jungkook sat in his bunk with the lights off. He had finally received the same message. Not a call. Not a voice note. Just a message. Don't come. Please. He felt his throat tighten, but no tears came, not yet. That was the thing about Jungkook. He held back until it broke him. He stayed silent until silence became unbearable. He stared at the wall, remembering the last time they'd all been together, before enlistment. Jimin had joked about the army life. I'll probably be the one who oversleeps and gets yelled at, he'd laughed. Taehyung had thrown a cushion at him. Jungkook had told him, Hyung, you'll be the one waking us up. But now, the one who had always kept the group smiling was the one who needed help. And he didn't want anyone to come. Why is he still trying to protect us? That was the question that wouldn't stop echoing in Taehyung's mind. Why did Jimin think he had to be strong, alone? Why did he believe they wouldn't come running the second they found out? It wasn't pride. Not with Jimin. It was something else. Something deeper. He was the kind of person who thought of others before himself every time. The kind who'd smile through pain so someone else didn't have to worry. He wasn't trying to shut them out. He was trying to shield them. And that broke Taehyung even more. That night, Taehyung didn't sleep. He sat on the edge of his bed, knees pulled to his chest, face buried in his arms. No one approached him. They had seen enough to know when someone needed space. But they didn't know he was whispering Jimin's name, over and over, like a prayer. Jungkook's silence. He won't talk about it. He just stares outside. According to sources within Jungkook's unit, the youngest member changed in the days after the message. He wasn't angry. He wasn't breaking down. He was just quiet. Too quiet. He won't talk about it. He just stares outside. One person shared. When someone asks him if he wants to call home, he says no. When we're allowed to write letters, he writes but never sends. It's like he's waiting. Waiting for what? An update? A miracle? Or perhaps a sign from Jimin, from fate, from the universe, that things were going to be okay.